Yeah. Bobby, your Red Sox are a little bit slow. How's the voice? Figaro. Not good. Voice is trashed. That's unfortunate. No Modelo in the pool. We got one more game, play-by-play. One more game, Arizona. Topic today is Raiders depth chart is out. Raiders depth chart. Go bring it up, and we can do that. How's everybody doing today? Yeah, I'm looking at the Raiders depth chart, and we got to kind of get into that. So I'll send it to my son. Yep. All right. How we doing, guys? Yes. Everybody hear us good? Everybody hears us good?
You're listening to the JT the Brick Show, where the Raider Nation has come to sound off and react for over 20 years.
It's the JT the Brick Show.
What are my expectations? We're going to win a bunch, and I don't care who hears that. I mean, it doesn't matter to me.
He's legendary. His track record speaks for itself. He competes every single day, and that's what I love about him.
Your silver and black home to sound off for over 25 years.
Am I willing to play harder longer than the guy lining up across from the team lining up across from me? And if you're not, then I want to be the space. That's where the Raiders live in.
Look, I expect excellence every day.
And now here's JT the Brick.
Out of the gate, JT with you as we are rolling today. Big show. They should all be big as we are talking about the Raiders' final preseason depth chart. Oh, boy, this is a good one. This is a good topic for today. It's one of those call to actions that we call here. It's one of those call to actions because you, the Raider Nation, you, the great fans of the Raider Nation, you all want to play GM and coach. Oh, I know you better than anybody. Going on 30 years, I know you better than you know you. So we're going to dive into the Raiders depth chart today, and I would appreciate your consideration on who's in and who's out. As I bring up Raiders.com here and I look at it, I got a bunch of tweets and texts today of fans worried about the Raiders depth chart. The 53-man roster deadline and dates that are coming up are right there at Raiders.com. And we're going to talk about this today because we are the show of record of Raider Nation, and we want to get your opinion on the unofficial depth chart heading into the final preseason game, which I have the luxury to do the play-by-play. And I'm honored to do that. And I think we've had a couple of really good games because I just set up Matt Millen and Eric Allen. That's it. I call the play, and I get out of the way, and I let those rock stars do what they do best. And I really appreciate that. Jason Horowitz does an unbelievable job. He's on TV with Kirk Morrison and the great Rich Gannon. And then in about 2 weeks, we start our new schedule, which might be the most daunting schedule, Bobby, I've ever done. And I'm getting older, not younger. Right. 3 nights a week on Mad Dog, 5 nights a week, 5 days a week on this show. The coach's show with the head coach, the TV show with Eric Allen, and the Wednesday live stream on Raiders.com. Your wife says goodbye. I'm on the other side of the house. I'm in the studio, and it doesn't end until after the Super Bowl, other than the bye week, which I guess the bye week this year is Halloween. What are they doing? The Raiders own Halloween. We shouldn't have a bye week on Halloween. We should be the game of the week on Halloween. But we got time to talk about the schedule. We are brought to you by the Stratosphere because they're owned by Golden Entertainment. And I bring this up because the Strat has a really cool event coming up with Tim Brown that I need everybody in Raider Nation to go to because Tim is just unbelievable, right? So when you have an event with Tim Brown at a casino in Las Vegas, I normally, I think I would have been a part of this, but I'm obviously on the road in Arizona. But the kickoff season with Touchdown Timmy, you ready? Mark your calendar for Saturday, August 23rd, and Tim Brown will be at the Strat, and it'll be a chalk talk with Timmy. So if you're in town or you're coming into town or you're a local, get out there for that, a meet and greet with Tim Brown, the Hall of Famer at the Strat Theater. That is August 23rd as we kick off football season with our proud partner, 4 p.m. Guests will get 2 drink tickets, tailgate or food in the Strat Theater, 5 to 6 p.m. a Q&A. Enjoy an opportunity to ask Tim a question and talk about his career. Then from 6 to 6:45, a meet and greet and an opportunity to get a photo. All of the pictures, all of the opportunities to be here, it's all at thestrat.com. Go to thestrat.com and be a part of that. All right, so Levi Edwards in the second hour of the show. We'll also talk to Jeff Sherman, the VP of Risk Management, on how to gamble. College football comes up this weekend, week 0, how you're going to bet, futures with all that. And then we're going to take the Ashton Jeanty press conference live because you'd rather hear Ashton Jeanty than myself, and I'm smart enough to know that. So I'll take a little break with my preseason voice, and we'll hear Ashton Jeanty, and Bobby told me he'll speak today. Cam Miller, yeah, that's going to pop up, and when they do that, we'll get to that. So let's get into this unofficial depth chart and sound off like you got a pair, because I think they're pretty accurate on this, and we know who the team's going to be. I mean, look, they're going to cut the roster down to 53. If you're not starting on this unofficial depth chart and you're not the backup, you might not make the team. And that's pretty important this year. And all due respect to the former regimes, it's really important this year because I think the practice squad, you want to keep the players on the practice squad badly. We really do. We want to keep these players. We don't want them to get picked off by other teams because we try to park them and they get taken out of waivers. We want to keep these guys. So I think it's going to be important because we don't have a lot of depth. We don't have a lot of depth. And we don't have a lot of depth on defense. We don't. But if everybody stays healthy, I think the defense will be pretty good, led by Pete Carroll and Patrick Graham. So let's get into this unofficial depth chart and start dialing the number 702-365-9200. I'd like you to tell me who's safe and who's not, and if you want to make a change on the depth chart. Okay, so let's start off, obviously, at quarterback. Okay, you got the quarterback, and the quarterback is good, and Geno Smith. Then it's Aiden O'Connell, and it's Cam Miller. If you want a really juicy topic to start off the show, it would be some people think Cam Miller should be above Aiden O'Connell. I think those people right now are crazy. I heard Lincoln Kennedy on with Q Myers and his co-host, I think it was on ESPN, and Lincoln framed it perfectly. Aiden O'Connell's been a good quarterback. If Geno goes down, Aiden's got experience. Cam's got none. Cam's got none. Cam looks like he's going to be a future quarterback for the Raiders. Cam Miller looks like he has a very bright future to become the backup of the Raiders. Aiden's the backup now. I can't predict what's going to happen at any time going forward with Aiden. He is not playing well in games, not playing to the best of his ability. Cam Miller's coming in garbage time. It is garbage time. Sorry, I'm a straight shooter. He's doing it then, and he's looking good. He's got great hip movement. I like what he can do, which I haven't seen here much. And Derek Carr could do it because Derek Carr was a very good player. But Rich Gannon was unbelievable of looking off, head fakes. Remember the pump fake of Rich Gannon? Everybody raise your hand or beep your horn if you remember Rich Gannon pump faking, pulling the ball back, and then hitting someone wide open. Cam Miller looks like he can do that. I like that a lot about Cam. So we're going to go with Geno. Now, the other good topic is Ashton Jeanty's the starting running back, and it's going to be between Zamir White and Raheem Mostert as number 2. Now, this is interesting to me because I thought Raheem Mostert would have that locked up with his experience, but Zamir White is impressing everybody. Yes, everybody. He's impressing Zamir White because Pete Carroll loves a hammer. He had one with Marshawn Lynch. Guys who can run people over, that's what Pete likes. Zamir White is more of a hammer than Raheem Mostert. I think Raheem Mostert is a better all-around player than Zamir White because I think Raheem Mostert has more of a nose for the end zone. So that's good. And then you have Dylan Lobby and Sincere McCormick. And those two guys, every year we do the same thing with Sincere McCormick. Is he going to make the team or not? He's a pretty good player. But Dylan Lobby has played really well on special teams, on offense and defense as a tackler. So we can get into that. But I'm mostly talking about the starters here. So wide receivers, it looks like it's going to be Jacoby Myers, Trey Tucker. Those will be your two primary veteran receivers, Alex Bachman, Jack Besh, a second-round pick. Jack is going to make the team. He's going to play a lot. He was a second-round pick. And then you got Philip Dorsett, Marquez Callaway, Tommy Millott, my guy who I like a lot, Ketron Jackson, friend of my son, Shedrick Jackson, related to Bo Jackson, Justin Shorter, Colin Johnson. I love Colin Johnson's size. Man, he looks like Devontae Adams when you're looking at him in the binoculars, but Dante Thornton in position to be a 1. I'm okay with that. He's got to take the top off. He's got to prove that his breakaway speed at the line of scrimmage is as good as his speed at the end of a route. I thought there was a ball he could have caught there, but I'm good with that. So we're good there. Everybody good? Those are pretty good wide receivers. Wow. Dante Thornton, Jacoby Myers, Trey Tucker, Jack Besh. That's really good. I mean, there's only one football. There's only one. I don't know how many catches Dante Thornton's going to get. If he gets 4 targets in a game, 2 of them are going to be a deep ball. Trey Tucker's had a really good camp. He's catching deep balls at every practice, it seems. All right, now we got to get into the offensive line. Here we go. Colt Miller, lock, starting left tackle. Dylan Parham, lock, starting left guard. Jordan Meredith, lock, center. Right guard, on the depth chart, it says Jackson Powers Johnson or Alex Kappa. Ooh, Bobby, I'm not used to seeing or on a depth chart. No. I'm not. Usually just have one and the other guy. So the unofficial depth chart, and a reminder, it's unofficial and changes are fluid. That said, this is the depth chart. As of August 19th, there's an or between Jackson Powers Johnson and Alex Kappa. That's interesting to me by now. Why hasn't Jackson Powers Johnson solidified right guard? What is he doing that isn't perfect? Well, no one's perfect. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. And what more does Jackson Powers Johnson have to do? Because there's an or in the depth chart, wouldn't you assume that Jackson Powers Johnson is going to play in Arizona? What does he have to prove to Pete Carroll and his son going forward? That's your topic today if you want a piece of that. What are we doing with Jackson Powers Johnson? He's competing. Get over it. Big boy radio. If you can't handle it, go find a podcaster who will tell you it's going to be okay. He's competing for a job. He doesn't have the job yet. Then you have DJ Glaze at right tackle, Thayer Mumford. I like Thayer a lot. He's a really good player. And it's nice to have him as a backup. DJ Glaze has won that position. And everything's really quiet with DJ Glaze, which is good. I mean, you're not hearing about, oh, my God, he just got beat. He got beat again. Oh, my God, he got beat. How great has it been that DJ Glaze has been working out with Max Crosby every day? Iron sharpens iron. Then we sit here at the tight end position. I think we got one of the best tight end rooms out there. Brock Bowers, Michael Mayer, they're the 1 and 2. Ian Thomas is a great athlete. Kadir Ishmael, the missile son. Carter Runyon's playing really well. I'm calling his name on the broadcast. And Albert O. Man, the Raiders have really good tight ends. That tight end room, they should do a 30 for 30 on, man. I want to see a camera in that tight end room. Because I know Brock's not talking much. He just is all ball. Michael Mayer is here. A lot of Raider Nation was saying is he on the block to be traded? I'm getting no indication that he's going to be traded. Are you? I'm getting none. So there you go. That's your offense unofficial depth chart. Show started 13 minutes ago. No one's on hold. I've been busting balls on that. Show started 13 minutes ago. What are we waiting for? I gave you the unofficial depth chart. Are you good with this? Are you good with this? Do you need to see Jackson Powers Johnson do anything else to make you want to pull for him? 702-365-9200. That's the offense. Defense. Unofficial depth chart. Ready for this? Defensive end, Max Crosby. Defensive tackle, Jonah Laulu, local kid. Defensive tackle, Adam Butler. Defensive end, Malcolm Kuntz. Let's spend a minute on that. Crosby, Laulu, Butler, and Kuntz. Not bad. Now, the problem is Jonah and Adam haven't been to a Pro Bowl. And they're not like the Eagles defensive tackles or the Rams defensive tackles, but I think they're pretty good players. The backups are really good. Tank Booker, J.J. Pegues. I mean, these guys are pretty good. Thomas Booker. I mean, I look at some of the players that we have here. They're not bad. I think the Raiders are going to keep. I got to talk to Levi Edwards. He'll join us next hour on the number. But they got a lot of players here, man, that aren't going to play a lot, including a guy named Tyree Wilson. I can't find him on the field. I can find him in the preseason. I'm really struggling on how to find him in the regular season. And I know he's being coached up by Robbie Leonard, one of my favorite coaches in football. So if you start Max and Malcolm Kuntz and Butler and Jonah, where are you going to get Tyree Wilson in? When? Well, if Max stays on the field and Kuntz stays on the field, Tyree's going to have to come in via some NASCAR package, and he's going to have to rotate with Jonah at defensive tackle. I would think that'd be a good rotation on passing third downs, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 6, 3rd and 14. Bring in Tyree Wilson to rush the passer and just say, go get ball. Go get quarterback. And then there's some good players there, man. I really like the play on defensive end of Charles Snowden and Tonka Hemingway and Andre Carter II. They're good players. I think they are. So how do you feel about the Raiders' defensive line? You good with this to start off the season? I am. And everybody, knock wood, seems healthy. Seems like we got some healthy guys there. This all comes down to Max Crosby. I have no problem telling everybody that. Max Crosby has to be healthy. He is. Max is really lean and fit. I think he's going to be faster. Not that he wasn't fast already, but I think he's going to have a big year. All right, here's your linebackers on the unofficial depth chart. Jermaine Pratt, Landon Roberts, Devin White. I'm good with all that. Jamal Adams is considered a backup. Tommy Eichenberg, Jalen Smith, Amari Gaynor, Cody Lindenberg, Matt Jones, and Michael Barrett, who just flashed. Sorry, can't keep you all. Can't keep you. So we're going to keep Pratt. We're going to keep Roberts. We're going to keep White. We're keeping Jamal Adams. We're keeping Tommy Eichenberg. The rest, I don't know. I like Lindenberg. Matt Millen likes him too. Matt Jones has flashed a little bit here. So the linebacker core is important to me because you're looking at veteran quarterbacks remaining healthy. Pratt, Roberts, and White, I'd like to say they're going to play all 17 games. I'd like to say that they're going to play every snap. They're not. I'd like to say that they're going to not get nicked up. They will. So I'm going to have to keep some backup linebackers here. I'm very intrigued on that group. I'm very intrigued on that group. I think there's a lot of guys with potential, a lot of guys who are here, and several guys who don't flash much. They're backup linebackers, and they just don't do enough to become starting linebackers, but I think they're good players. Cornerback gets interesting. Darnay Holmes seems to be the slot corner. Caillou Blue Kelly from Bishop Gorman, I think, has played his way onto the team. I wouldn't have said that at the start of camp. I think Caillou has had some runs with the 1s and 2s. Darian Porter, I really love his upside. DeCamerion Richardson, I'll believe it when I see it. I think he's a good player, but I think he's susceptible to getting beat. That concerns me. I didn't think Sam Webb had a great game. And then you have Eric Stokes and JT Woods. So I'm good with Eric Stokes, who's penciled in as this depth chart as a starter with Darian Porter. Look, if we put Stokes out there, he had a lot of potential. He's looking for a rebirth. And Darian Porter's never played a game in the NFL. He didn't play a lot in college, too, for a while until he proved he's a significant athlete. So the cornerbacks don't have a lot of depth. I think the cornerbacks are okay. They're not great. And I really believe that I think John Spytek, and we'll hear a little bit later on from Brian Stark, who spoke today. I think when you look at that, I think they're in the market for a corner, but I could be wrong because they got money and some good corners are going to be cut down. Free safety, Isaiah Palomar, leave him alone. Leave him alone. Raider Nation, leave him alone. He's good. He's got to get more experience. You got to play him. I think he's a good player. He has a nose for the football. He can play in the box. I think he's good. And then you have Jeremy Chin coming off the interception. I don't think there's great depth behind him. Lonnie Johnson got hurt. Thomas Harper, Christopher Smith II won 2 national championships at Georgia. I haven't seen great play out of him. And Trey Taylor in the past won the Jim Thorpe Award. And I don't know what to tell you about him in regards to the depth of the team. And then special teams are set. So that's the monologue. Do you have any question or anybody that you believe should not be on the first team and you think should not, maybe should have to look over their shoulder? I really think it's an important time now for radio because I'm not a stir-the-pot guy. I'm a team guy. You know, other people want to stir the pot. You hear them at the press conferences. They want to ask the question that stirs the pot. I'm not that guy. But I really do believe it's a good time now for Raider Nation to let me know if it's Jackson Powers Johnson or the experience of Alex Kappa. I really think now's the time because the game's coming up on Saturday, and I think we need to hear from the fans on that position. You good with me on that? So let's jump in. If you want to call in, 702-365-9200. On my night show, I have 9 calls on hold after the monologue. 9. Here, it's like pulling teeth. But it's summer radio, Bobby. I got to calm down. My wife says, mellow out. It's summertime. I'm like, yeah, but I got to do a show. She's like, no, it's summertime. Relax. Get in the pool. And I'll do that after the show. So that's where we're at. I'm pretty good with this. I think the strength of the Raiders are their tight ends and Ashton Jeanty and the running backs. That's the strength of the team. I'm a big fan of Geno Smith. It's an upgrade. We haven't had a quarterback like this since Derek Carr was in his prime, right? And I think Derek Carr is better than any quarterback now on Indianapolis's roster or Cleveland's roster. I think that Derek Carr is better than Joe Flacco, but he's not playing. There was an announcement that Derek will be part of a television broadcast. He's going to be a part of the YouTube broadcast of a game coming up here. So that's good for Derek if he gets into media. I think Derek's going to come out of retirement and be a quarterback pretty soon. That's my opinion. But other than that, what we have to get our heads wrapped around. I spent a lot of time talking to alumni this past weekend, guys with gold jackets. I work with a gold jacket in Eric Allen and Matt Millen, who should have a gold jacket. I know what their concerns are, and I know what they're comfortable with. And I listen to them. And I think that the Raiders now have a core 3 players on offense in Geno Smith, Ashton Jeanty, and Brock Bowers who can keep us on the field. Did everybody get that? It's really important what I just said. Those 3 guys can keep us on the field. And they have to be able to do that. Because if Ashton Jeanty on second down can't get a first down, and we don't throw it to Brock Bowers on third down most of the time to get a first down, we're not going to remain on the field. And we have to do that. If we do that, I think it changed the whole projection of this franchise and team in year 1 of Pete Carroll. If we can pick up first downs and eat the clock and run the football, I think the Raiders are going to be in a situation where they're going to have long sustaining drives and they're going to be in a really good spot, and the other team's defense is going to get worn out, and Max Crosby is going to get rest. Where am I wrong on that? Because if we throw this secondary out there, if we keep throwing this secondary out there the way they look now, I'm concerned. Not scared, but I got to have something I could talk about that needs to be improved on. And that would be the secondary's ability to cover. Because I called 2 games so far in the preseason, and the middle of the field is still open. Oh, yeah, it's still open. And if I know that, Josh McDaniels knows that. And if I know that, Jim Harbaugh knows that. And if I know that, Jaden Daniels knows that. So we got to find a way to kind of close up the middle of the field. We got to guard 3rd and 18 and not give up 19. We can't play soft zone, which we can in the preseason because we don't want to show anybody anything. I talked to Patrick Graham about it in the production meeting. I think I have an idea what he's going to do and dial up when the season starts, which I'm really excited about. But if you're watching us on YouTube, we have, this is cool. My son just did this. We have the depth chart up, and we have the depth chart up, and you can take a look at that, and you can see what we're doing here. And as I'm looking at this depth chart and trying to figure out how to put it up here, thank you, you can see what the Raiders have. And do you like it or not? One person is available. He's in Summerlin, where I live. Oh, how about Summerlin South Little League? What a game. One of the greatest Little League World Series of all time. They're no hit through 6, and they win in 7. Justin in Summerlin, thanks for calling.
Hey, JT, Hope Springs Eternal, favorite time of the year with our favorite sports starting up. And I'm very optimistic about the Raiders, but we'll see. But very, very importantly, that brings up, I need your opinion, man. What do you think the starting lines for the night, what should they be? Do you go with the super line of Stone, Eichel, and
Come on, dude. It's August. I'm working for the Raiders. I got my Raider gear on. And you want the 3 lines of the Golden Knights? I'm an Eichel guy. I'm a Stone guy. I like the stars, Justin. I mean, you're starting off my show with the Golden Knights. I love you, man. I love you for that. You know, I'm not going to go the 3rd line right now. I can put on a guest. I can bring in Gary Lawless.
But do we do the Eichel, Marner, and Stone are all passers? Who's going to shoot the puck?
Eichel.
Or if you have on the first line?
Eichel can shoot, play center. He can play wing. He can play either side. Thank you. Holy crap. Time for a State of the Union. Yeah, it's time. Here's what I need to remind everybody. I wait around all freaking day to host this show. I expect it to be great every day. I know I can be gruff. I know I can be chippy. I care like hell for my sponsors and everybody else. Someone wake the hell up and get in here and get going with Raiders football because I'm ready to roll. I am in Super Bowl form right now. Okay? And Justin, I appreciate your call on the Golden Knights. It would be nice, Bobby, if my show was simulcast on the Golden Knight station. We'd have a bigger audience and I could take Golden Knight calls. But I'll stay with Raider Nation Radio because we are streaming like monsters over here and on the YouTube channel. Here's Mark in Fresno, California. That's big Raider country. Hello, Mark.
Hey, what's up, JT? It's good to talk to you, man.
Same here. Thank you.
Cool. So I'm going to make it short and sweet. So I think the JPJ situation, we got another center. So we have Meredith, we have JPJ, and I need to ask you a question about JJ Pegues. Can he play center too?
No, he's not here to play center. We got 2 centers. Pete Carroll loves Meredith, and Jackson Powers Johnson won the center award in college as the best center. Why would you want JJ Pegues at center?
Well, just in case we need one.
That would be Dylan Parham.
Oh, it'd be Parham? Oh, okay,
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you for the call.
Yeah.
Thank you for the call. I need a drink, but I'm not drinking this week. Can someone bring me a bottle of Tito's right now? Can someone just bring me a bottle of Tito's? What's going on here? Did I just get a call on JJ Pegues being our center? Yeah. Why? What am I doing wrong? I'm just trying to go over the depth chart to see who should start.
You have to understand when you open up the phone lines and we're taking calls from these people, some of them are not exactly.
But other shows don't take calls anymore. I've been doing this 30 years. I want to keep the callers involved. We don't need any. I could talk for 4 hours. I do every day. But I want the callers to be great.
I would settle for mediocre at this point. I would settle for somebody that has like a 10th grade education.
Bobby, you should get hazard pay today.
Nah, nothing to
hazard pay today.
Because I know 2 o'clock's coming. Comes to lay a prayer.
Oh yeah, 2 o'clock comes. That definitely comes.
We both need a break though.
I kind of get some breaks here and there, but you know, once football starts, there's no breaks. You know, there's no breaks.
There's one now.
I just put 2 kids through college, man. I can see the finish line. I can, but I don't want to see it. I love working. I love being on the radio. Grimaldi's is hands down my favorite pizza. Sorry, everybody else. I'm a pizza connoisseur. Grimaldi's now serving slices weekdays for lunch. South Rainbow, Green Valley on Eastern. The Grand Canal Shops and my spot at Boca Park. And that was brutal. That was effing brutal.
Wait, gets worse.
That was brutal.
All right, let's
Yeah. Okay, the button all the way to the right if I want to put up the depth chart.
I'm sorry, what?
Okay. So I have me.
How about be a little more specific? Turn the radio off in the background. What the fuck? You out of context?
Bobby, be nice. Don't rip a caller like that. That's not right. Fucking guys calling us. Be nice. Jeez. I mean, come on, dude.
Radio Nation, what's the name? In Ohio.
Chicken fingers, crinkle cut fries, crushed coleslaw, buttery Texas toast, and their craveable cane sauce.
Whereabouts in Ohio?
Don't forget, I love the iced tea and the lemonade. Equally great. Choose Raising Cane's as your after-school destination. Raising Cane's chicken fingers. One love.
Hi, I'm
Hey, Rocky, where did you say you were again?
At 15 years old, I was homeless with no guidance or education.
All right, appreciate everybody here. Got a lot of people in here. Thank you.
An experience no child should ever endure. But I got through it, thanks to the generosity of thoughtful people just like you. Through hard work and faith, I built a successful life.
It's all good. I'm gonna pass.
Now in these later years of my career, I am using that success to focus on something far greater. I'm helping the children who are walking the same path that I once did. That's why I created Just One for One, because it only takes $1 per paycheck to make a difference. To a child, $1 can mean food, safety, and most of all, hope. Together, we can change the lives of the children that need it the most. Please visit justoneforone.org to make your donation today.
I wouldn't take you to one.
Well, then, dude, don't put them on the radio, dude. We've been doing this long enough. I mean, you know, callers got to be ready to come on the show. You know, I don't need shitty callers. If they're good, I'll freaking talk to them. If they're not, we don't have to put them on the radio. There's no rule that we have to put people on the radio. I got a good tweet on Vegas tourism. I said Vegas tourism is a lot like television ratings. When TV ratings are up, television networks just tell you about it. Our ratings are up 18% over last year. When ratings are down, they don't say much. Vegas tourism has been through the roof for the last decade. The numbers were insane, up and up. Now they dip down and everyone's freaking out. A lot of blame to go around, especially casino execs that price customers out of rooms, dining, parking with other greedy maneuvers. Canada tourism is way down. Yes, tariffs play a role. Airline prices and the difficulty of air travel cancellations also hurt. Time to adjust Vegas pricing. Take care of all the customers, make them feel more special. Stop trying to squeeze money out of our valuable tourists and locals.
I got Jeanty cute and ready.
Okay.
This season, get in the game with the William Hill Pro Pick'em football contest. Just pick the winning
teams, no point spreads, and take home your share of up to $1,210,000 in cash prizes. For a $25 entry fee, you'll be picking for your share of $10,000 in weekly prizes. Finish with 215 season wins and get the $1 million cash bonus. Register today and get your picks in before kickoff on Sunday, September 7th. For more details and to see a list of participating locations, visit williamhill.us. Must be 21. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Boyd Gaming is the official and exclusive local casino partner of the Las Vegas Raiders at Allegiant Stadium. Bring your friends, have some fun, but always bet on play.
All right. Chan and Cincy, Corey in Illinois.
Jeanty touchdown.
Okay.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by PT, the best happy hour in town, 5 to 7 p.m. and midnight to 2 a.m.
Ashton single back set. They're going to give it to him again. He's going to try to bounce outside and get a push. Can he have enough to get in? The ball comes out. The ball comes out. Is it a touchdown or not? We're waiting on the call. It is a touchdown from the side judge here. Ashton Jeanty off the right side, and Las Vegas up 9-3. Extra point ending. Ashton Jeanty, his first touchdown in this building. Yeah, that was a good one. Didn't know if it was a touchdown initially. The ball came out, but that was Ashton Jeanty's first touchdown. JT here. Monologue is done, and now we're rolling there. Sorry for being a little chippy there, but Bobby and I had to have a come to Jesus moment on the phones during the break here. You can watch us melt down on the break if you're following us on YouTube at JT the Brick Y2. We also have the Raiders official depth chart up there too if you want to take a look at that. And that's kind of the topic for today is we got a good understanding who's going to make the team and who's not. We got a good understanding of who's going to start and who's going to be the backups. But this is important because there's still a couple of spots open. We still have room for a 6 wide receiver. That's going to be always the biggest part of the final preseason game is who's going to be that final wide receiver. Who's going to be the final running back? Dylan Lobby, Sincere McCormick. How many running backs are they going to take? Raheem Mostert. Right, you look at the guys that are here. Ashton Jeanty, Zamir White. These are guys who are all – Chip Kelly wants to run the football, everybody. He wants to run the football. That's what he's going to do. So we got to have multiple running backs. And for those who are concerned that Ashton, looked for contact in that last game, we're going to hear from Ashton momentarily. He's speaking now. We'll take that in a few moments. So we'll take that in a few moments. Ashton Jeanty meeting the media. And I think that Ashton should be shut down, in my opinion. Don't need to see him. Well, here's what I wanted to say last night. Joe Burrow played last night against the Commanders, and there was a horse collar tackle sack against him that threw him to the ground. Could have been season over right there. I was watching it live.
Oh, yeah.
They took him and threw him to the ground, and it could have been Tony Romo. All he had to do was land on his shoulder and blow up his shoulder, break his collarbone, season over. And he got up and he wasn't hurt, which was pretty remarkable. That was pretty remarkable. The fact that Cincinnati risked putting him out there so he could be in a situation to get hurt. So what? I didn't understand that because Joe Burrow is now sending a message that he wants to start quick. So he wants to play in the preseason. And Matthew Stafford, he's not at 100%, and they got to get Jimmy Garoppolo ready with the Rams. Chan is in Cincinnati, and he joins us on the flagship. Hello, Chan.
Hey, what's up, JT? How you doing today, brother?
Doing good. What's happening?
Hey, I was just, some of the nation seemed like they was panicking a little bit about the secondary situation, but I got to remind people it's still preseason. You do want players to look like they're awoke and look like they're sharp and look like they're ready to go. But it's competition, it seems like, at that position. And then it is still preseason, so you're not going to see what you would see in regular season. But I think we'll be okay. I think there's depth at that position as well as a couple of places on the defense. I think we may be all right. Your thoughts on that?
I think they're going to be all right. All right is the team won 4 games last year, lost 10 in a row. I think they're completely better. They have a great head coach. I believe in John Spidek's plan. They have a quarterback. They have an elite running back. They have the best tight end in football. They have Max Crosby. I'm expecting Malcolm Kuntz to play well. But other than that, The rest of it, the linebackers, I'm not familiar with, either of you. They played on other teams. They're not Robert Spillane and guys we're used to. We got 3 new linebackers. They got to play well. I don't know how they're going to play. It's a preseason. They got to hit the ground running in New England. I know Vrabel's going to hit the ground running in New England. We got to hit the ground running. And the secondary is inexperienced, period. I mean, we really got to count on Jeremy Chin and Isaiah Palomal being the last line of defense. And the corners, I don't know. I mean, I'm not blown away by the corners, but I understand Pete Carroll is developing them. And if he's developing them to his liking and he believes in them, why wouldn't I believe in what Pete Carroll's doing? He knows more about football than I do in developing a secondary. But could the Raiders still go out there and get another cornerback? We'll see. Bubba in Vegas, right here on 920. Hello, Bubba.
Hey, JT, how you doing?
I'm doing good, thanks.
Hey, just wanted to ask, what do you see them adding potentially another vet corner, here coming up after cut week? To be honest with you, I'm not 100% sold on Eric Stokes and some of the other young guys like Nick Cameron and all those other folks. So what do you think about them maybe adding another vet corner coming up here on?
Yeah, I would agree. I don't know who they're going to be because there's some good teams out there that have competition with their third and fourth corner. So let's just say you're a team. Pick any team. You got a first and second corner. Your 2 starting corners. Then you have your third and the fourth. If the third and the fourth corner on those teams are better than the Raiders and one of them gets cut as a camp casualty, you better believe I think the Raiders could go after a player like that. I just don't have the list. I don't think they're going to go after the free agents who are available or that haven't been signed yet. But I think there could be a good player, thanks for the call, that gets let go and could be available. I think, but they might be good with the depth that they got. Like, do they want to bring in a veteran corner that's cut or develop Caillou Kelly? Do they want to develop DeCamerion Richardson and give him more reps in games? Or have him go to the bench and not play because they bring in a veteran corner from another team? That's a big decision. And John Spytek and his team are the guys that can make that decision. But remember, we don't know more than Spytek and Carroll when it comes to the depth of the secondary. They have a plan. And we'll see how it works out once the season starts going. Jorge in San Jose, it's been a while. How you been?
Yo, JT, been good, man. Been always listening. And, I had to call in. It's, for this next preseason game and moving forward, this is going to be the game for all these players who are just trying to make a roster spot, and it's happened a lot for the Raiders over the last few years, JT. We have a lot of guys that are just competing. And John Spytek said, it's going to be, close to half of these players that are going to be new guys. And I think that's where, we have to really try to improve. And then the guys that are going to be better and the guys that are going to stick around, I think they have to continue to improve. I think that my favorite part of the game was just Chip Kelly showing that if we get the run game going, and I think Ashton is going to do it, JT, the type of plays that we can get, like that Brock Bowers catch when he just lost that guy. I think that's what, has to be, something to look forward to this on the offensive side. On the defensive side, I do think that, the big play has always, been protected. That's Patrick Graham's bread and butter. He's able to hold that big
Good
play.
point.
But you're right. If we're not getting any pressure on the quarterback, if we're keeping them upright, that's going to be a problem, because Max Crosby is going to stay on the field. And the fact that, I'm looking at this depth chart and I'm like, we got guys, but we got guys that got to prove themselves too. We got number 1 picks that are, behind, the starting lineup. And so it just got to get done on the front. And, we're going to have to rely on these veteran linebackers to just try and get it done. But I'm looking forward to the physicality. I'm looking forward to the tackling. I think that's something that we measured up against with the 49ers. That's why it was such a close game. So I'm looking forward to it, JT.
Thanks,
the
Jorge.
run game started.
Appreciate the call. Thank you very much. I agree with the physicality that you said. With Jeremy Chin, Isaiah Palomal, Pratt, Landon Roberts. Matt Millen really loves the physical play of Landon Roberts. Yeah, I'd like to see the physical play. I'd like to see this team turn into a nasty physical group. But, they got to develop some Pro Bowlers. Like Adam Butler's got to take the next step, and he has so far. Malcolm Kuntz has got to be a beast He's going to be single covered. They're going to be double teaming Max. Kuntz is going to be coming off the edge one-on-one. He's got to get home. If he does, I think the Raiders will be great. Not great. I think their defense will be much improved. Black Hole is the home of football's most notorious fans. They are now downtown at the Golden Nugget. You can become a member for lifetime. Once a member, always a member. If you bleed silver and black and want to belong to one of the most passionate fan clubs in the world, look no further. Visit theblackhole.com today. That's theblackhole.com. Jeff Sherman over at the Westgate on how to gamble college and pro football.
I'm not taking anything from it.
What is Jackson Powers Johnson not doing, if there is something, or is Jordan just excelling so well at center that, okay, maybe we could just use
O'Connell at all?
regardless of what the situation is.
No. Well, I mean, that could be pretty interesting. Okay. Well, maybe late in the show, but did it say how long Jeanty was?
Yeah, Jeanty's about 9.
Okay. I think we'll play Jeanty at 1 and go from there.
Yeah. Do you have time for Levi yet?
I'm going to put him at 1:30.
So,
season wins and get the $1 million cash bonus. Register today and get your picks in before kickoff on Sunday, September 7th. For more details and to see a list of participating locations, visit williamhill.us. Must be 21. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
When you need cash, how quickly can LendingStore.com connect you to a lender faster than this commercial? When you need cash for a medical bill, groceries, or rent, LendingStore.com's network of lenders.
we're going to play Brian Stark coming back. Competition for final spot.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's look at that Dan Patrick yesterday.
So visit LendingStore.com today for details. Website for details. LendingStore is not a lender and does not make credit decisions. Must be 18 years old. It's not available in all states.
Hi, sports fans, it's the Herd. We're here to talk about game changers. Just like in sports, business has all its MVPs, and Ford Country and the Valley Auto Mall is leading the pack. At Ford Country, you'll get VIP experience with the best service in town and exceptional savings on your favorite Fords like the F-150, Explorer.
Hey, Joe. Bobby, how you doing?
Why they're the number one Ford
Good. I'll get something to keep you 1 minute. Okay. Well, actually, about 2 minutes.
online at FordCountryHenderson.com.
It is all set.
Difference is real.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats. Plus fast.
All right. How we got? We got 429 people here. Yeah.
Banking should be personal. At Westar Credit Union, it is. We're not just another financial institution, but we're a trusted partner in savings, loans, and life's biggest moments. Join today and let's build your future together. Westar Credit Union, rooted in Nevada, built for you. Visit westar.org or your nearest branch and get started today.
Hey, babe, where are you
About a
going?
minute and a half.
Fantastic indoor swap meet.
The swap meet. I love Fantastic. Can I come along?
Sure, if you bring your wallet.
What are we shopping for?
Everything. They got everything, and it's a lot more.
College football. Who's into college football? UNLV. They're starting early.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 10 to 6. And like they say, it's fantastic.
And like they say, we've got it. Zip Zap Auto has expanded into one of the largest independent auto repair shops in the country. With 23 bays, over 12,000 square feet, Zip Zap is your one-stop shop. Offering 24-hour smog tests, oil changes, detailing, bodywork, engine, and transmission rebuilding.
What's going on this weekend? Nevada, silver, and black.
No appointment necessary, 24-hour service. Zip Zap Auto at Cheyenne and North Durango Drive, and online at zipzapauto.com. This September, Evolution Hotels Las Vegas has some great acts leading up to the big fight weekend.
Big fight. Canelo. That's about a month away. Vincent for me on Friday.
Definite?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Brian Stark, assistant GM.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show.
The Sherman's all
Brought
set.
to you by the Black Hole. Become a member of football's most notorious fans.
You know, I don't think there's a single position group like that. I think the whole roster is really competitive right now. So I think,
Brian Stark.
Every position for those last couple of spots, there's a lot of competition for it, and we kind of take the opportunity to evaluate every exposure. So every practice, every game that we have from now until cut down day is important for us. We want to see and provide as many opportunities for each of those players to compete as we can. So it's hard to single out one position group, but I can tell you that the competition for those roster spots on the back end there, it's going to go right down to the wire.
That's Brian Stark, who spoke, the assistant general manager. I'm looking forward to getting to know him. He's a real sharp guy as he spoke. And we have a huge sharp guy, Jeff Sherman, VP of Risk Management over at the Westgate. I'm going to begin before we get to football with one of your specialties. You're great at golf. And, oh, my God, Scotty Scheffler chipping in on 17. And I understand the points and all that. He's the golfer of the year. Obviously, he should have the FedEx Cup already shipped to his house. So tell us what's at stake here for Eastlake for a guy who should not be competing and should have this thing wrapped up already.
Yeah, they changed the format mid-season this year, and there's no starting stroke, so it's just basically a tournament. And whoever wins the Tour Championship at Eastlake ends up winning the FedEx Cup, and I believe the $18 million. So different format now, and we had booked it all year, but Scotty the overwhelming favorite at plus 160 in the 30-man field. But he's going to have his work cut out for him, and it's not just going to be handed to him.
Yeah, I think it's ridiculous. I really want more of your opinion on that as how someone, and it'd be great. Ricky Fowler's been playing good the last couple of weeks, where you find someone in that top 30 who's 21st, and they end up winning that. Is that good for the sport? Maybe it is. It feels like Rocky versus Apollo Creed. If someone outside the top 20 can take this away from Scheffler.
No, I think that the way it is, I don't think it would be good for the sport. I mean, at least before, even when they had the starting strokes, you tend to see somebody that people are familiar with end up winning him. Could you imagine seeing Jacob Bridgman?
Right.
He's 125-1 winning, and that story would go away so quickly from who won it, but it would make a bigger story on why he won it.
Yeah, and very interesting. I can't get enough of watching Scotty Scheffler, and I tuned into Live, and I've been taking cheap shots at Live because I just think the format, and I know Fox got into it, and I just can't believe it. Like, John Rahm didn't win, but he won some ring. And I'm sitting there going, wait a second. And I wonder what John Rahm is thinking about now, where he could have won $18 million this weekend if he ended up beating Scotty Scheffler at Eastlake. But he's made more than that. I'm assuming a lot more than that in Live per year.
Yeah, I think he signed a $300 million contract.
Yeah.
So much more than what he would have got at Eastlake.
Right. Amazing.
But, just like you said, with that whole format, Joaquin Niemann won 5 times on Live, but Rahm ends up walking away with Player of the Year just because of the way the points are produced. So everything. And, they have their last tournament this week, and it's a team championship, which means we won't have any betting handle on it. No one's interested in betting teams and not individual players.
Exactly. Jeff Sherman's our guest, VP Risk Management over at the Westgate. So Ashton Jeanty had a touchdown. He trucked a couple of players. When it looks for prop bets going forward, the Ashton Jeanty market, tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, he's been seeing a lot of support since the last preseason game. And, MVP a little bit far out there. He's 150-1, but some markets that we are seeing support for him. Offensive Rookie of the Year at plus 275. He's a favorite for that one. And to be the leading rusher in the NFL, he's gone from 20-1 down to 16-1. Right now, the risk room is talking about doing some individual season-long props for him, such as will he get a game of 200 yards or more, things like that. So in the upcoming week, we should have things like that.
When you look around the league now and you see what's going on with Matthew Stafford and his back, you got a lot of sharp guys, including yourself in the risk room. I mean, we don't know how much Jimmy Garoppolo we're going to see, but I can't imagine that Matthew Stafford plays the majority of the year.
No, and we actually saw sharp money on the Rams to miss the playoffs at plus 165. So that number has come down and under their season win total. So I have to agree with that. We're not pro Rams like we were earlier with the situation with Stafford. So even the week 1 number, it was 3 at home against the Texans. Now it's down to 2.5.
With Terry McLaurin, Micah Parsons, and Trey Hendrickson, which player has affected the future market more for season win totals and odds to win the Super Bowl?
Honestly, none of them have had any effect. It's tough. It's usually the quarterbacks are the ones that are going to have the large effect. So you might find a 10-cent move in a season long price and the season win total, but really nothing in the markets other than their individual player markets where we drift their odds out if it looks like they might not be playing.
It's interesting for Micah Parsons, who, even if he signs a deal this week, I don't think he plays in that opener against Philadelphia. What does the line look like for that game and the total on that game? Again, the quarterbacks will play. It'll be Dak versus Jalen Hurts. But, man, the message Sherry Jones is sending to that roster as they get on the plane, if Micah Parsons isn't able to go, that is not good for morale.
Yeah, we're sitting at Eagles -7 with a total of 46.5. And it did drift down a few days ago down to 6.5. There's still some of that out there because of offensive line on Philadelphia has some issues. But it's going back up to 7, and being the standalone opening night game by itself, we're going to be loaded up with teasers and money line parlays on the Eagles. So, the books will need Dallas to win outright. That'll be the best outcome. I can say that right now.
Jeff, watching the Padres and the Dodgers have been entertaining. The Padres can't beat the Dodgers, and the Dodgers are kind of losing everybody else. Dodgers lose to the Rockies. I'm on the air last night. The Padres lose to the Giants. Tell me about the MLB futures in the National League. It's been all about the Brewers winning 14 out of 15, and the Dodgers can't get right.
Well, that's just it. The Brewers are down to 7-1 for the World Series now behind the Dodgers. The Dodgers are 3-1. They were as high as 7-2 going into that Padres series, but now back to 3-1. Then you have a whole slew of teams behind them at 8-10-1. So things are looking more and more wide open right now than we had thought before the season.
Yankees movement at all here? They've won a couple of series. They swept the Cardinals.
Yeah, they were as high as 14-1 for the World Series. They're back down to 12-1, so a little bit down.
And NHL season point totals here for our Vegas listeners, our global audience here. But how do we look with the Golden Knights?
Second highest point total at 105.5 behind Carolina, who's 106.5. So wide range. Chicago is the lowest at 67.5, but we just got these up on Sunday, and a good amount of shelf life to bet these before the season starts.
Any sharp money early on Edmonton, considering the way they went out last year and bringing back the majority of the team?
Nothing much. We've actually drifted them out on their Stanley Cup odds. We were 7-1, now 8-1, as we haven't seen too much support early on for them.
As having the best and sharpest book in all of Vegas and all the world, tell us about the Super Contest, a couple of the other contests, how we could get locals down and people visiting from out of town to the Westgate to sign up.
Yeah, anyone can sign up. They can use a proxy, and they're readily available to contact proxy services. So you just have to be physically here to sign up on the first try, and then you can use a proxy all season. The Classic Super Contest, $1,500 entry fee where you're picking 5 selections against a spread. Then we have the $5,000 Gold, which is the same selection process, the $5,000 Survivor, and then we have the new College Contest this year, $500 entry fee, picking 7 selections against a spread.
So that's 7 a week in college going forward. That sounds entertaining.
Yeah, and we're offering the entire schedule, not the extra games, but the regular board rotation games. So plenty of games to choose from.
Thank you, Jeff. See you soon. Appreciate you.
Okay, thanks, JT.
Jeff Sherman over at the Westgate, VP of Risk Management, one of the most respected guys in town. I don't gamble, but I talk to gamblers. I talk to sportsbook directors. We tell you this every time this year. You play fantasy, great. You get ready. You got to build up your money to bet. You better have more money now in the summer if you're going to bet it in football, or you're going to look to get money during football season. Doesn't work that way. Are you building up your handle now so you're ready to fire during football season? Thanks to Jeff Sherman. We appreciate him. We'll be back for hour number 2. All right, I'm going to spend some time on the chat here for about 10 minutes, and then we're going to play the Ashton Jeanty, his appearance today at the podium, and then I'm going to bail. All right. How we doing today, everybody?
You don't gamble either, huh, Kenny? I've never gambled. But I'm in the stock market every day, and that's a bigger gamble.
Bring your friends, have some fun. We're always bet on black. Visit their 10 casinos across the valley. Don't let the game get out of hand. Please bet responsibly.
Looking for your next adventure on the road? Finley Toyota has you covered. With an unbeatable selection of brand new Toyotas, you'll find the perfect ride to fit your lifestyle and your budget. Whether it's the rugged Tacoma, the adventurous RAV4, or the powerful Tundra, at Finley Toyota, we make financing easy and stress-free, no matter your credit situation. Finley Toyota, driven to excellence. At the Valley Auto Mall in Henderson or online at finleytoyota.com.
Kenny likes to eat. I only gamble on Raider games. I don't win much. Raider Nation Drinking Club. Stock market is white-collar gambling. You're right, Thor, it is. But if you buy stocks and leave them alone, I can promise you 10, 20 years from now, you're going to have a lot of money, normally.
Hey, babe, where are you going?
Fantastic indoor swap meet.
The swap meet? I love Fantastic. Can I come along?
Sure, if you bring your wallet.
What are we shopping for?
Everything. They've got everything, and it's a lot more fun than shopping online.
Okay, let's spend the afternoon. It's just over on Decatur and Okie.
You know, Fantastic's open every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 10 to 6. And like they say, it's fantastic.
And like they say, we've got it. Hey, it's Chris Fox. Yep, your morning radio guy, and I want to be your trusted Las Vegas realtor. I've called Las Vegas my home for over 34 years, and I know it like the back of my hand. And I've helped a lot of Las Vegans just like you. So whether you're buying, selling, investing, or you have a property that needs a lot of TLC, I can help. Just call me, 702-419-4346. 702-419-4346. I want to be your trusted Las Vegas realtor, and I'm ready to go to work for you. Simply Vegas.
12-5, Gino MVP. Wow, 12-5 for Gino. That's pretty good, Jack Yates. 12-5 for Gino.
23 bays, over 12,000 square feet. ZipZap is your one-stop shop, offering 24-hour smog test, oil changes, detailing, bodywork, engine, and transmission rebuilding.
All right, so Jeanty's about 9 minutes. Maybe we'll play 7 or 8 minutes of that.
It's good whenever you're ready. You still on?
I am.
We go for a couple of minutes, recap the depth chart or whatever, and then we'll talk to them.
Okay, sounds good. The Colts named Daniel Jones their starter. Daniel Jones. I think Daniel Jones has got talent. He's always had talent. He's just a turnover machine.
I got O'Connell queued up if you want that.
Visit williamhill.us. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Boyd Gaming is the official and exclusive local casino partner of the Las Vegas Raiders at Allegiant Stadium. Bring your friends, have some fun. We're always bet on black. Visit their 10 casinos across the valley. Don't let the game.
Bobby, we got to cut a bunch of new commercials and get them to demo. Let's do a Raising Cane's top of the hour.
Part of the Las Vegas Sports Network, KRLD Las Vegas. This is Max Crosby, the Las Vegas Raiders, and you're listening to JT the Break on Raider Nation Radio.
It's the JT the Break Show.
You know, obviously it means a lot to me being a part of the Silver and Black alone. You know, the history, I've said it a million times. I feel like I was meant to be a Raider. I love being here.
Your Silver and Black home to sound off for over 25 years.
Just amazing, opportunity, great community here, and, great fan base. So I'm expecting a lot of fun, a lot of energy, a lot of great times.
It's going to be all about competition, and there's going to be no easy games in our division. And now here's JT the Brick.
Welcome back, everybody. JT, hour number 2. I'm in studio with Bobby today. Wasn't able to get over to the Raiders because the timing of this show conflicted. And we got Levi Edwards, who was at practice. And Levi's going to tell us all about practice. So I'm excited about that. If I'm not going to be there at a practice, I'm going to put people on the radio who are there. Kind of a slow day. Daniel Jones has been named the starter for the Indianapolis Colts. Anthony Richardson moved to backup. There was something I tweeted out yesterday that had Anthony Richardson ranked higher than Geno Smith. How'd that age? That didn't age well. But Daniel Jones has got a lot of talent. He's a really good athlete. Really good athlete. He just turns the ball over a lot. We're going to have to play Ashton Jeanty here in a few minutes. He just met the media. Earlier today, the Raiders released their unofficial depth chart heading into this final game. For me, I think it's pretty simple. The Raiders got to make a decision coming up. If you're on YouTube, JT the Brick YT, I have the entire depth chart up there. So you can look at it and you can look at the show. Pretty cool that my son was able to put that together, and you can scroll through the depth chart. It says Jackson Powers-Johnson or Alex Kappa at right guard. I think many fans are confused about why is it taking this long for Jackson Powers-Johnson to be the unofficial starter? I don't know. I'm surprised by it too. I thought he was going to be the starting center. I didn't think he'd be competing at right guard. But I understand what Pete Carroll's doing. He's looked at Jordan Meredith. He likes the fit there. He likes the style, the body look, what he's able to do in protections. I think it's fair to say more than Jackson Powers-Johnson. And then Jackson Powers-Johnson at right guard brings an element. And Alex Kappa has got more experience than JPJ. But I like JPJ as a starter. I think he's one of our top 5 offensive linemen. I think you agree with that too, but now we don't know because we don't know what's going on in the meetings. We don't know what's going on in film. We don't know what's happening in walkthroughs. So I would hope it would work out okay. We're brought to you by Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love. Raising Cane's, proud partner of this show, UNLV football. As many are predicting a great season for UNLV football. And many times their food is catered by Cane's and the players go to Cane's after the game. It's unbelievable. And this year at Allegiant Stadium, Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, with our partnership with the Raiders and UNLV, one love. Raising Cane's, proud partner of the show. We really appreciate them. If you have any question on the depth chart and a player that you think should make the team going forward, I think this whole linebacker case is a really interesting one. Who are you going to keep as a backup? Mac Jones, Cody Lindenberg, Amari Gaynor, Jalen Smith, Tommy Eichenberg, who I think is safe, Jamal Adams, who I believe is safe. When you look at all this, there's not a lot of room because you know who the linebackers are that you're going to keep to start: Jermaine Pratt, Landon Roberts, Devin White. And then we get to the corners. What about the depth of the cornerback position? So the interesting part of this next game for me is I called the game with Matt Millen and Eric Allen. I don't think the starters should play much. Maybe they will. I don't know. Normally they don't. And then there's going to be a lot of backups playing, and we're going to have to analyze the backups who are close to making the team. Doesn't it always seem like this time of year going into the last game, Sincere McCormick has a good game? Like Sincere McCormick will have 2 touchdowns, and we're all like, what about him? What about the depth of the tight ends? Alex O, Kadir Ishmael, Carter Runyon. I like the way he gets open and catches the ball. There's some good players on that team. And wide receiver, Vince Sapienza, every time I see him. Alex Backman, Tommy Malott. Who's going to be that player that makes the team? And the guys who go to the practice squad. And some of the guys that we're talking about are good practice squad players. They're not going to start. They're not going to play. So put them on the practice squad and develop them. There's a different coaching staff now and a different football operations staff to develop players on the practice squad. I'm excited for that. All right, let's get to Ashton Jeanty, who just met the media. I thought he had a good game. He had a touchdown. He trucked a couple of players, went in the blue tent. I mean, he was playing physically and hard. He met the media today over in Henderson.
Obviously, very physical runner and saw that in the game. How do you kind of balance, deciding when to be physical or maybe choosing to be more elusive and avoid it?
Yeah, I think it's just being smart, picking and choosing your battles. With DBs, you want to be a little more physical. Linebackers, a little bit less, shake and bake, kind of attack them half a man.
Something that you could try with that, use to your advantage, because if a quarterback sees on film that you're going to lower your shoulder and run into him, and he's going to set up for that, maybe that's a move that you can make.
Yeah, throughout the game, that's something I can set up, obviously have him thinking, if I were to continue playing the game, maybe next time I would have gave him a move rather than lowering the shoulder.
Obviously, you're known for running the ball with as many yards as you had in college, but how much of pride do you take in also being able to be a pass catcher out of the backfield, and how much do you believe that Chip Kelly has been able to put you in advantageous positions to do that?
Yeah, I take a lot of pride in it. It's something that wasn't really shown as much in my college career. So being able to have that opportunity, and Chip's done a great job at getting the running backs involved in the passing game, and we just gotta continue to work at it and get better every single day.
Ashton, I watched all your games at Boise after they picked you, and I've noticed you are extremely aggressive in pass protection, and I didn't see that as much in Boise. I don't think you were asked to do it as much as you are here. Is that just another part of your toughness? Because it seems like it's something you really take pride in.
Yeah, definitely. Coach McCullough he's harping on it every day. We got to be able to, protect the quarterback. That's one of our, number one priorities besides, protecting the football, giving them time, because, in the same way I'm blocking for my receivers, tight ends down the field, they're blocking for me in the run game.
Where do you think you are in terms of that recognition of where the blitz is coming from, that sort of thing, in order to pick up pass protection?
I think I'm doing a pretty good job. I think I can still, grow. There's always room to get better.
I know you're out there competing with those guys, the linebackers, but is there room for some communication, talking to them, maybe off to the side, to try to get into their head a little bit about what their plan is?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like earlier in training camp there was kind of conversations like that. A lot of them were like with Devin White, but now we've been going against each other so much. I kind of know what guys are gonna do, and then obviously it's cool. We're getting towards actual games, game one, and being able to game plan and go against different guys.
Ashton, when you're able to create big plays, can you kind of just talk about your vision as a runner? Marcus Allen, he said, great runners, they're not really concerned with the guy in front of them. They're already looking at the second and third guy up ahead to make a play. Can you kind of just talk about your vision when you're able to create a big play?
Yeah, first off, it's like, it's like a game of, chess. It's like knowing where everybody's at and where they're going to be when the ball snaps, possibly, so that you're a step ahead. And if you can do that, then that's where the big plays come, right? Because you're going to make that first guy miss, but you got to be able to see the full picture and where everybody's coming from, so you can finish the play and score.
What have you thought of returning some kicks in practice? What have you gotten out of that?
It's been pretty fun.